You walk around this building and everyone is so supportive and so excited about what is happening with the Fever.
Nobody expected the Caitlin Clark era to start like this. The Indiana Fever was supposed to become the WNBA's next powerhouse overnight the moment they drafted the most hyped women's basketball player in history. Instead, the franchise suddenly found itself drowning in criticism, locker room rumors, coaching controversy, and non-stop media chaos. Then things got even crazier when social media exploded with claims that former Fever coach Stephanie White allegedly wanted nothing to do with the organization because of drama surrounding Caitlin Clark. The rumor spread so fast that thousands of fans started believing the Fever were already falling apart behind closed doors. But the strangest part of the entire situation is that the story wasn't even true. Stephanie White wasn't the current coach at all. Yet somehow, people still believed it because the Fever already looked completely overwhelmed by the pressure surrounding Clark's arrival. And once fans started digging deeper into what was really happening inside Indiana, the situation began looking far worse than a simple internet rumor. Because the deeper story may actually reveal a franchise struggling to survive the spotlight of its own superstar. The Stephanie White rumor became massive because it perfectly matched the emotional chaos surrounding the Indiana Fever. Fans weren't spreading the story because they checked the facts carefully. They spread it because the team already looked unstable, frustrated, and completely overwhelmed under the national spotlight. Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA carrying expectations no rookie had ever faced before. She wasn't just viewed as a talented player. She was treated like the future face of the entire league before she even played her first professional game. Every Fever game instantly became national television material. Arena attendance exploded. Social media engagement skyrocketed. Even people who had never watched WNBA basketball suddenly became emotionally invested in every Indiana possession. So when the team started struggling badly, fans immediately assumed something bigger had to be happening behind the scenes. That's where the Stephanie White story took off online. Rumors suggested she supposedly saw warning signs inside the organization and wanted no part of the drama connected to Clark's arrival. Others claimed there was internal dysfunction spreading throughout the franchise. None of it was actually confirmed, but the story kept growing because it emotionally felt believable to frustrated fans watching the team collapse publicly. The Fever weren't just losing games. They looked disorganized, emotionally drained, and completely unprepared for the pressure surrounding Clark. Every turnover became a viral clip. Every emotional reaction sparked debate shows. Every awkward moment between teammates fueled new speculation online. The internet turned the Fever into a non-stop drama machine where every small issue suddenly became evidence of a deeper crisis. And eventually, most of the frustration started landing directly on one person, standing helplessly on the sideline. Christy Sides quickly became the main target of criticism as Indiana's struggles continued growing louder every single week. Fair or unfair, fans expected the Fever to look dramatically better the moment Caitlin Clark arrived. Instead, the team often looked chaotic on both ends of the floor. Offensive possessions broke down constantly. Defensive mistakes happened over and over again. Turnovers piled up at an alarming rate. And because Clark brought millions of new viewers into the league, every single mistake unfolded under an enormous spotlight. Cameras repeatedly showed Sides looking visibly stressed during games, and social media immediately turned those moments into evidence that the pressure inside the organization was becoming impossible to manage. Online discussions started questioning whether Sides was truly prepared for the impossible expectations surrounding Clark's rookie season. To be fair, very few coaches have ever dealt with this kind of pressure before. One moment Indiana was rebuilding quietly, and the next moment they became the center of the entire sports world overnight. That kind of attention changes everything. Every lineup decision became controversial. Every substitution sparked angry debates online. Even post-game interviews started getting analyzed frame by fans searching for signs of panic or frustration. Reports and fan speculation also questioned whether Indiana had a real offensive identity built around Clark's strengths. Instead of looking fast and dangerous, the offense sometimes appeared hesitant and disconnected. Players often looked unsure where they were supposed to be on the court. And as losses continued stacking up nationally, another conversation started becoming impossible to ignore. Fans began wondering whether the tension on the floor was starting to affect relationships inside the locker room itself. The conversation around locker room chemistry exploded after the now infamous Kennedy Carter incident involving Caitlin Clark. The play itself immediately went viral across sports media, but what really sent fans into a frenzy was the reaction afterward. Many viewers noticed Clark's teammates didn't instantly rush over to defend her, and social media wasted absolutely no time turning that into a major controversy. Suddenly, the internet became flooded with theories claiming the Fever locker room was divided behind the scenes. Some fans speculated that Clark's massive fame created jealousy among players. Others argued the constant media attention surrounding her arrival completely changed the team dynamic in unhealthy ways. To be clear, much of this remained speculation driven by emotional reactions online rather than confirmed reporting. But once people started looking for tension, they began noticing it everywhere. Missed passes between teammates suddenly looked intentional. Frustrated facial expressions became viral clips. Even simple in-game communication started getting dissected by fans trying to prove the team had chemistry problems. The relationship between Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston especially became a major discussion point. Fans expected the two former #1 picks to instantly become one of the league's best duos. Instead, there were moments where the chemistry looked awkward and uncomfortable. Some analysts suggested the roster was simply struggling to adjust to Clark's fast-paced style of play. Others believed the emotional pressure surrounding the team had started affecting confidence across the entire locker room. Whatever the truth was, the Fever no longer looked like a young team growing together naturally. They looked emotionally exhausted by the constant attention surrounding every single game. And while fans argued about chemistry issues publicly, the pressure surrounding Clark herself was quietly reaching an entirely different level. Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA carrying pressure that almost no athlete in basketball history has ever experienced. She wasn't simply drafted as a talented rookie, expected to improve gradually over time. She arrived as a full-blown cultural phenomenon, expected to transform an entire league immediately. That level of expectation is almost impossible for any young athlete to survive comfortably. Suddenly, every arena sold out when Indiana visited town. Television ratings shattered expectations. Celebrity attention followed her everywhere. Debate shows covered her constantly like she was already one of the biggest names in professional sports. But with that level of fame came an exhausting amount of pressure. Every turnover became national news. Every technical foul sparked endless online arguments. Every hard foul against Clark turned into a league-wide controversy debated for days across television and social media. Fans also started speculating that some WNBA veterans resented the massive spotlight Clark received compared to established stars already in the league. Others pushed back hard against that narrative, arguing that physical play against rookies has always been part of professional basketball. But regardless of which side people supported, one reality became undeniable. Clark's arrival completely changed the emotional atmosphere surrounding the Indiana Fever. Opposing teams treated every game like a playoff event. Reporters analyzed every emotional reaction she had during games. Millions of viewers suddenly expected perfection from a rookie adjusting to the highest level of basketball in the world. And eventually, all that pressure started circling back toward the front office leadership responsible for building a stable environment around her. As the losses continued piling up, fans began paying much closer attention to comments made by Indiana Fever general manager Lynn Dunn. In professional sports, executives rarely criticize coaches or players directly during interviews. Instead, they usually speak in carefully controlled language designed to avoid creating even more public controversy. But according to many fans and analysts, Dunn's recent comments started sounding less like patience and more like frustration. She repeatedly emphasized accountability, discipline, and the need for improvement, which immediately fueled speculation that major organizational changes could eventually happen if the season continued spiraling downward. Some viewers interpreted her statements as indirect criticism toward Christie's sides and the coaching staff. Others believed Dunn was simply trying to calm a fan base already panicking under the enormous expectations surrounding Caitlin Clark. But once the internet senses uncertainty, every public comment becomes a massive story. Suddenly, fans were debating possible coaching replacements, potential roster shakeups, and even whether the organization underestimated the challenge of managing someone as famous as Clark. Drafting a superstar is one thing. Building an emotionally stable environment around that superstar is something completely different. The Fever suddenly found themselves trying to balance player development, media pressure, fan expectations, and non-stop national attention all at the same time. Every decision now carried enormous consequences because millions of people were watching the franchise more closely than ever before. And what made the situation even more painful for Indiana fans was the fact that the coach at the center of the original rumor was thriving somewhere else entirely, creating a comparison the Fever simply could not escape. Stephanie White's success with the Connecticut Sun became an unintentional nightmare for the Indiana Fever because fans could not stop comparing the two situations. While Indiana struggled through chaos, criticism, and constant pressure, the Sun looked calm, disciplined, and completely organized. They defended aggressively. They communicated clearly. They played with confidence and structure every single night. Naturally, Fever fans started imagining what Caitlin Clark's rookie season might have looked like under a more experienced and stable coaching environment. That emotional comparison became one of the biggest reasons the original Stephanie White rumor spread so quickly online. White represented everything Indiana appeared to be missing: stability, leadership, identity. Every Connecticut victory seemed to intensify frustration among Fever fans already worried about Clark's long-term development. Some online discussions even questioned whether Indiana rushed into the spotlight without fully preparing for the media storm Clark would bring to the organization. To be clear, there is absolutely no confirmed evidence suggesting Stephanie White avoided coaching the Fever because of Caitlin Clark or internal drama. That narrative was built almost entirely through fan speculation and viral social media conversations. But emotionally, the comparison still damaged Indiana badly because it highlighted how unprepared the franchise appeared during one of the most important moments in its history. Instead of looking like a rising dynasty built around the biggest star in women's basketball, the Fever looked like an organization struggling to control the pressure surrounding its own success. And as losses continued stacking up, fans slowly stopped asking whether Indiana could compete for championships. They started asking something much darker. Could the franchise actually damage the confidence and future of the very superstar who was supposed to save it? As the season kept moving forward, the conversation around the Indiana Fever slowly became less about basketball and more about survival. Fans were no longer debating playoff positioning or championship potential. Instead, they started worrying about whether the organization was handling Caitlin Clark's development correctly at all. And honestly, that fear didn't come out of nowhere. History is filled with superstar athletes who entered professional sports carrying impossible expectations, only to look emotionally drained after being forced to carry entire franchises too early. That's why so many viewers started wondering if the Fever underestimated what Clark's arrival would actually demand from everyone involved. This wasn't just about adding a talented rookie scorer. This was about managing one of the biggest sports celebrities in America. Every emotional reaction Clark showed during games immediately became national discussion material. When she looked frustrated, headlines exploded. When she argued with referees, debate shows analyzed it for days. Even normal rookie struggles suddenly became evidence for dramatic narratives online. The pressure surrounding her became relentless. Reports and online speculation also started questioning whether the Fever roster was truly constructed to maximize Clark's strengths. Some fans argued the team lacked veteran leadership capable of stabilizing difficult moments. Others believed the constant spotlight created emotional tension nobody inside the organization knew how to control. And because Indiana kept losing nationally televised games, the outside criticism only became louder. There were even discussions online suggesting Clark looked mentally exhausted by the non-stop physicality and media attention surrounding her rookie season. To be fair, some of that reaction was clearly exaggerated by social media drama, but the concern itself felt very real. Fans genuinely feared the franchise might waste the early years of a generational player before properly building around her. Suddenly, every coaching decision felt larger than basketball. Every loss felt symbolic. Every awkward interaction created new theories about the future of the organization. And hanging over everything was one terrifying possibility. If the Fever failed to stabilize the situation quickly, the Caitlin Clark era could eventually become remembered not as the beginning of a dynasty, but as one of the biggest missed opportunities in modern basketball history. And that possibility may be exactly what's creating panic inside the organization right now. In the end, the Stephanie White rumor was never really the story. It was simply the spark that exposed how emotionally chaotic the entire situation around the Indiana Fever had already become. Fans wanted answers. They wanted a clear villain. They wanted a simple explanation for why a franchise built around the most famous player in women's basketball suddenly looked so overwhelmed under the spotlight. But the truth appears far more complicated than one viral rumor. The Fever weren't destroyed by Stephanie White leaving. She was never even part of this current situation. The real issue is that Indiana may have dramatically underestimated the pressure, expectations, and emotional intensity that arrived alongside Caitlin Clark. Overnight, the franchise transformed from a rebuilding team into the center of the basketball universe. Every mistake became front-page news. Every loss became a national debate. Every emotional moment turned into social media chaos, and under that pressure, cracks started appearing everywhere. Questions about coaching, rumors about chemistry problems, concerns about leadership, fear about Clark's long-term future. Whether those concerns are fully justified or partially exaggerated by internet drama almost doesn't matter anymore, because the perception itself has already taken over the conversation surrounding the team. Right now, the Indiana Fever look like a franchise standing at a crossroads. One path leads towards stability, growth, and eventually building a championship contender around the biggest superstar the league has seen in years. The other path leads toward dysfunction, frustration, and the possibility of wasting a once-in-a-generation opportunity before it ever truly gets started. And that's why the entire basketball world keeps watching so closely. Because this story is no longer just about one rookie season. It's about whether the Fever can survive the pressure of their own success before the spotlight completely consumes them.